All right, hello all. My name is Michael Lachenschmidt, and this January I and a number of other Carroll University students went down to Tucson, Arizona to learn more about border issues and immigration from the South. This presentation will help explain what I learned during my time at Borderlinks. Before I begin answering these questions, a few housekeeping things. The pictures you see on this presentation were taken by myself as well as Linda Spice, who accompanied us on this trip. She took some fantastic photos, so thank you, Linda, for allowing us to use them. I would like to note that all the pictures you saw in my presentation that show the wall of the border were taken by me just because I felt like this was the most personal experience for me, and I wanted you to see it from my perspective. For this class, we must answer 5 questions. However, if I see a photo I'd like to explain, I may pause from answering that question for a second, and then get back to the question after I explain the picture. I'll verbally say when I'm doing this. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so first off, here is a photo of us before we left for LA. We flew from Milwaukee to LA and then down to Tucson. Look at us. We're on our phones. We're all texting. We're on our laptops. I'll get back to this photo later in the video and compare it with when we were coming back from the trip. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Some more of us just kind of chilling. And then we went to LA, which was cool because, it served as kind of a bonding time for us because a lot of us were Packer fans. We got to watch the game. So that was really neat. All right, let's get to it. What was your initial viewpoints about immigration? How did they change or not change from the class experience? Well, my initial viewpoint on immigration was that of simply looking at it from a legal issue. I originally saw the issue as black and white, and if a law was broken, then that person had to pay the price. During the experience, specifically when we went to the border and Operation Streamline, which is a legal incentive for illegal immigrants to have a quick and speedy trial along with other undocumented migrants in return for a sentence that can range from 1 to 6 months and deportation. Normally that process takes about 15 minutes when they're in the courtroom. It's pretty insane when you look at that. Right here, just want to pause for a second. If you look at the left picture, second from the bottom, don't count the days, make the days count. That was one of the rules that we added, and that was my suggestion. And that was kind of the first time, really, it was the first day, first morning. I really wanted to have something that others could use, and I thought we all used that. We all definitely made the days count, and we had a fantastic experience. So it was a great time. Great time. Learned a lot, and it was very emotional days, but we definitely made them count through our learning and through our discussions. Okay, so Operation Streamline really made me reflect because I always say how important my family is to me and how I would do anything for them. Would I cross the border illegally and break a law to help my family? And if I didn't, wouldn't that make me a hypocrite? And would I be willing to do, what would be right for me? And would it be right for me to want the people who choose to go that route to go to jail? Still think our laws are extremely important. I feel that only excuse for breaking the law is if you have exhausted all other options. However, I feel like it should be easier for people to get here legally. I think our policy of prevention through deterrence is no plan at all, forcing these people to make this dangerous journey through the deserts and hope that enough people die so people will stop making that trip is no policy at all. And it is downright cruel. My viewpoint has changed, however, I'm still on the fence about this issue as I can see both points of view. Okay, there is an author we talked to. Borderlinks did a great job giving us a lot of great speakers. And he talked about NAFTA. And part of the question is, what did you learn from this immersion experience about immigration? Through the desert and all that. And what did you learn that you wouldn't have learned in Maine? I didn't know what NAFTA is before this trip. The North American Free Trade Agreement. So I've never heard of it. But basically, it set in motion a chain of events, including Americans being able to trade fruits and vegetables in Mexico, which dropped the price of fruits and vegetables in Mexico so much that farmers in southern Mexico couldn't provide for their families. Therefore, they made the difficult decision to migrate to America. I also learned that at the same time, the United States began bolstering its border security, which made me wonder if the Mexican and American governments knew that this would be the case. Then NAFTA must go. We need to find a way to curb this issue once and for all. If it means helping Mexico, then so be it. The people must be able to provide for themselves. So it was definitely an interesting kind of conundrum for me to try and figure out all those issues. Um, I also learned a ton from our desert walk. 2 hours, 2 hours, and here's some pictures from it. In that terrain, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine walking miles and miles in that terrain for weeks, even months at a time. It takes a very motivated person to want to come here. That is for sure. Gave me a lot of respect for those people who decide to make the journey. It also made me sad that they felt this dangerous journey was their only option. There was no way I would have gained the perspective and those emotions from just sitting in class, learning about it through a textbook. My emotions varied by the hour. It was insane. 1 hour I was happy, cracking jokes with the group. I'd be on the verge of tears. Uh, there were so many emotions in such a quick time frame. It was almost like getting on a never-ending roller coaster, up and down, up and down. And you see these images. These images will never leave me. I mean, the clothes. I mean, those are people's lives that they packed up and decided to come to America. You see the crosses, and you'll never forget those. I'll never forget those. I mean, it's just a very emotional experience walking through the desert and to see these people's lives just right there, and knowing that they've been here recently, and you don't know if they made it or not. So that was the most difficult part for me. Uh, but even more difficult was the border, uh, because I looked out onto the border, out of the fence, and I saw a kid playing soccer on the Mexican side. And I looked out there, and he looked back, and we made eye contact. And then he turned away, and I felt awful. How could someone explain to this kid why he's playing soccer next to a huge fence? I felt like I was at a zoo, which I hate. I hate zoos, or a prison. I was just looking inside, and I felt almost sick to my stomach about that image of that kid. If I felt like that, like I was at a prison or a zoo, how did he feel? And that's what changed for me. I started looking at the issue, not how it affected me, but how it affected others. I always will remember that image, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. What is my definition of culture? My definition of culture is a group of people that share in similar language, both verbal and nonverbal experiences, and in stories that are told. In our experience, we saw the Tucson culture of immigration, which it almost felt like it was a joke on how big of a deal it was to them. I mean, to us. They felt like it was their duty to make sure these migrants were okay, and they almost kind of looked at it, at the issue much differently than I did early on in the experience. But towards the end of the experience, I started to see what they meant as a humanity issue rather than a legal one. Also, our group had our own culture, from inside jokes to our thick Midwestern accents. We all shared in all the things I feel the definition of culture provides. We got free time, and we still talked about the issues we were seeing and experiencing. I think that's also what made the trip worth it. Here's 20 young adults who put down their phones and looked at the problem, tried everything in their power to figure it out, and that is special in this day and age. I am so proud of the culture we created in our group. Question 4, how did Borderlands experience help frame your understanding about the importance of culture? Why does it matter? Well, Borderlands gave me an opportunity to see things that I wouldn't have been able to see if I just went on vacation in Tucson. While I did not agree with everything they said or did, they brought in great speakers for us and gave us a valuable experience, like the desert walk and taking us to Operation Streamline. This changed my view because it made me walk into someone else's shoes. We say that a lot, but we never really get to experience it. And that was important. I was truly able to think about the issue from others' perspectives. Maybe think about and question everything that I had learned about the issue before, which means I think they did a pretty good job in that sense. Culture matters because if we truly want to be world citizens, We must be able to see what others see, feel what others feel. With new technologies, uh, we are all called to be world citizens, to share our feelings, to try and make a change in the world. If we do not understand the issues of other cultures, not only are we not being good world citizens, but we aren't being balanced people. And we can never truly fix an issue or even comprehend the issues if we cannot understand or if we ignore others' culture. Ignoring others' culture is a true crime, and one we have all committed before. And I hope after this experience to never commit that crime again. Conclusion: how will this appreciation for culture impact your future? Like I said, ignoring culture is a crime, and I hope to never commit that again. So it truly changed me. I'll never look at any issue the same again. I'll ask questions before I judge. I will think about how this issue affects others before myself. I also learned that if you put 20 young people in a room and sit down and talk about their feelings, amazing things can happen. And that we can do great things if we just put our minds to it. Now that's cliche, I know, but what we did in our discussions, they were emotional, they were raw, and they accomplished a lot. Um, I see that, through that, I need to question things more and not just settle for things just are because they are. Culture is important and it always will be. As a communication major, it only increases that importance. If I want to use my degree and use it um, effectively, not only in my current job as a high school football coach, um, so I'm going to have to ask players instead of just yelling at them why they're struggling. Ask them how they're doing at home. Ask them if there's something they want to talk about. Not only that, but as a communication major, I must be able to communicate effectively with people from different cultures, and this experience will only help me in that endeavor. Here's the photo of us back in Milwaukee before we began our journey. Like I said before, you see us on our phones, and there we are in Denver. Look at us, none of us on our phones. We're all talking, we're all having a good time, and that's what made this experience so great. I see people like Zach, Joe, Eric on campus all the time now, and we stop and we have conversations. And that's amazing. And that's what truly made this experience special for me. And I will be forever grateful for going on this experience. So that does it. I would like to thank Dr. Jennifer Huck for leading this experience. Your leadership was amazing throughout the trip, and I truly thank you. Thanks to Linda again, and thanks to everyone who went on this trip. I learned so much from all of you. I thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See ya.